The link is in this description. So good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today on Coffee Talk with Karen. We are live. I'm actually live on Facebook, and I'm also live on Podbean. So for any of you guys that have been looking for me, I am still alive. I'm still here, and I am on Podbean because I do my podcast. So if you guys are looking for me, that's where I am. And there is a link in the description on Facebook so that you can click on it, you can download the app, and you can make sure you can always find me. Good morning, Orlando. I see you on Podbean. So good morning. I hope everybody has their coffee and they're ready to talk, because this subject to me is very, very important to discuss. So if you're jumping on either Podbean or on Facebook, please do me a favor and hit that button. Let me know you're here. Check in, say good morning. Actually, I want to see, it's been a minute since I've done this, so I want to try to share it out, because I think that this is always so much more fun when people jump on and, participate. So I'm actually going to share this onto some of my groups and pages, and I encourage you to do the same. All right, so now here we are, and I want to talk about, are you a safe place? And this is definitely to discuss. Me. Whoops, see, so I want to comment. Look, see, you hear me on there. Hold on a second. Let's get everybody on here and see if we can't. Let me see if I can get this. I don't think I can, because I can't do it while I'm live. Let's see. Maybe. Maybe. All right. Here we go. So thank you, Orlando, for sharing. Again, I want to discuss, are you a safe place? So the reason I went with this topic, well, there's a multitude of reasons, obviously, right? So one of the reasons was, I don't know, it was probably about 2 months ago. A friend of mine, well, actually one of my best friends, had texted me, and she said, I just, saw this reel. I just saw this thing, and always know that I have 8 minutes for you. And I'm like, what? And she's like, I know that you think that I'm so busy all the time, but I always have 8 minutes for you. So I'm like, 8 minutes? I know you have more than 8 minutes for me. I know. And she says, yeah, I just saw this reel, and they were talking, good morning. People are jumping on Podbean. I am also live on Facebook today, because since everybody has been looking for me, here I am. So good morning, everybody. Help me share this out. Because this is definitely a really important, critical topic in my thoughts. I'm listening and here. No, be wherever you want to be. You're good wherever you are, Jennifer. Good morning. I got my coffee in hands, and actually this coffee cup was actually bought for me as a birthday gift many, many years ago from one of my listeners, fans / friends. So I love presents. So now I want to go back to the point in hand. So, or the subject matter, and the subject matter is, the 8 minutes. So as I said, and I'm sorry, I interrupted myself because I was saying hello to everybody. But she had said that to me, and I didn't understand, because I didn't see what it was that she was talking about. So I did a little research on this prior to doing this show. And I initially began with the concept of, are you a safe place? Now, this is the 8 minutes is a different scenario than are you a safe place? But in my opinion, they go hand in hand. So what this premise is that the psychologist has said was it takes 8 minutes for you to like hardwire your brain or whatever to not feel lonely and to feel seen and to feel heard. So in the reel that I had posted, it spoke about how somebody reached out and was like, hey, a text, hey, what's up? How are you? And so, the guy didn't respond because, we're all busy, right? So like, don't give me a, hey, how are you? Like, what's up? Yes, you can say, hey, like maybe you just say, hey, I'm checking in, want to see how you're doing. That's one thing. But if you're feeling a certain kind of way, hey, how are you? May or may not get somebody to stop what they're doing and respond to your text. So apparently, I think the gist of it was, I don't know, and it wasn't clear because it was just a blip of it, if this woman actually committed suicide. Because she was lonely, she was in a bad place, and she had no one to help her get through it. So I'm going to read to you what I have, what this whole concept is real quick, and then I'm going to go into what my thoughts are on it. I just need to find it because, of course, I had it open, and God forbid that it would be where I had it. So let me see here if I can find it. And imagine this. This is what happens. Why? Okay, here we go. All right, we're back. We're getting it. Okay, so it says, here we go. Sorry, of course, I'm on the wrong page here. Imagine a close friend facing a tough moment, feeling overwhelmed or unsure of where to turn for support. Yet they struggle to express that need, probably feeling hesitant to reach out or burden anyone with their troubles. Meanwhile, you may assume they're busy or that everything is fine on their end, unaware of their longing for connection. But what if in 8 minutes, with a brief check-in or a simple message, you can offer the comfort and reassurance they might be hesitant to ask for? The 8-minute rule is a small but impactful way to share you care, even amongst a busy schedule. So that is huge in my opinion, because I am definitely that way. I'm going to be the first person to admit, yeah, I'm good. Or, like I don't even answer. Actually, if somebody asks me how I am, I usually redirect the question because I don't like to lie. And unfortunately, over the past 10 years, I haven't quite been okay. For anybody that, isn't aware, I happen to have lost my husband. And that was a very, very traumatizing, life-changing event. And over the summer, forget about it. I've lost a lot of people. And I have finally realized that it's okay to not be okay. And you're not always a burden. So I'm going to clarify. So a burden is someone that is constantly, burdening you. No, it's somebody that's constantly sucking from you and not giving anything, but just taking. Now, there are times when people have nothing to give and they do need to take because they are pouring from an empty cup. That said, we all have to have boundaries. We all have to have, an area in which we're able to function, while helping others. So if you guys have ever followed me, you know I'm a big proponent of, the when the cabin pressure goes down, put the mask on yourself first before helping others, because you can't help someone when you can't breathe. So the whole point to putting the mask on first before helping others is that now you can breathe and you can help everybody. But a lot of us think about everybody else. And so the first thought is, let me help them breathe and let me put the mask on them first. And unfortunately, that doesn't always work. Well, it doesn't work, because now they're going to be okay, but now you're not going to be okay. So if you're okay, think about all the people that you could help if that is indeed your goal. So I think that there have to be boundaries, and this is why my subject matter was not just the 8 minutes. Do you have 8 minutes? But more the concept of being a safe place. So to me, what that means is I can tell you anything, and I don't have to pretend I'm good. I don't have to think that you think that I'm weak or whatever the case may be. And I think that depending on how you were raised, right, especially if you're more old school, depending on how old you are, right, now everybody talks about everything. But when we were younger, right, what is it? Don't air your dirty laundry. You don't discuss personal business to other people, and you have to just be who you are. Of course, I'm in a group text right now, and I don't know how to shut them down, and they're all texting at the same time, which is why I love group texts. Anyway, so we are pre-programmed not to dump, if you will, right? Because that's how I feel sometimes. Actually, I was out with someone, one of my co-hosts, actually, and she's like, I want to know about Karen. And I'm like, ooh, like, really? And so we start talking, and I don't lie. So if something's going on, I talk about it and I don't lie. Either I evade the question, or if you ask, I'm going to tell. And I feel that sometimes it's too much, because she was in tears, basically, as I'm telling her. So now I feel bad, because I don't want someone in tears because of my pain. And so I was talking to another friend of mine, and I was like, I felt terrible. Like, this is why I don't say anything. Like, this was so much. And my girlfriend had said to me, I asked you. So I want to know. And, I'm crying with you. And I think it's so important, and I'm still working on this part, right? And I'm probably going to get a little emotional when I'm talking about it, but I'm still trying to work on that, because asking for help is really hard. Asking for support is really hard. And you know what? I don't know. I feel like we shouldn't have to ask. And that's wrong, because people are not mind readers. So it's really challenging, because where do you put that? Like, because then you may say something to somebody, and then maybe you scare them off, and they're like, you know what? I'm like, that girl got some issues. And I don't have issues. I have real life stuff, I guess. So I think when people say issues, that's a little bit of a different story, right? But I feel like we don't know, we have to know that we're in a safe place. And I also feel that if this is true and this 8-minute concept is indeed true, and it only takes 8 minutes to help someone feel heard, validated, seen, then damn, like, we don't have 8 minutes. And you know what? I got to tell you something. I have done it with strangers, where, like, especially even when I've done my shows and I've talked about a lot of things on my shows, and I get messages, private messages afterwards about people that were going through something and were like, you know what? I needed to hear that. Because we're all walking around like we're fine. And listen, I do it too. I rather listen to someone else's problems than think and do something about my own sometimes. First of all, thank you guys for jumping on, tuning in. This is Coffee Talk with Karen. We used to do this show every day during the pandemic, and obviously people went back to work, so it's not always the best timing, but it was expressed to me that it should come back, and I'm back. So, and now I have some co-hosts as well, but I like to be me, myself, and I, because I like to talk to you guys, and, I like to get out what I need to say. So we are live right now on Facebook. If you're watching this and you care, and you think somebody may benefit from this, please share it out. We are also live on Podbean. That's Real Talk with KarenStacy.podbean.com. I have 2 channels on there. The other one is Straight Talk with Karen and Brenda.podbean.com. So you download one app, you get 2 shows. And I have people that are on Podbean right now that are chiming in. So Jennifer said, you're the most honest as far as I know. Real talk. Thank you. But if people know you, they know something is wrong if you are a real friend. Yes, that is true. But it's also, and I'm learning this, it's also not fair to expect other people to pull out of you what's going on. So yeah, I'm that person. The minute I hear your voice, even just the way somebody texts me, I already know. And I'm like, everything okay? Are you good? And I think that, yes, we have to do self-preservation. And I think sometimes we do need to be selfish. I think that I am a more selfless person than a selfish person. But I think that sometimes people that are a little more selfish are better managed, if you will, because it's very difficult for you to, you can't fix everybody. So the issue is again, I'm going to go back to, yes, the 8 minutes, right? So can 8 minutes rewire you, and 8 minutes that you give to another person, like this, I think his name is Sinek, and he's a psychologist, and he says that if you are, if you can give 8 minutes to a friend, they say that's the best thing that you can ever do, right? Because it can help somebody, because you never know what someone else is going through, and they may be struggling, and you may be that person, that lifeline. When I've done shows in the past, I've had people say to me, just the fact that someone held the door for me today made my day. So I have always, if you know me and you've ever tuned into any of my shows, you know that I always say, be kind. You never know what someone else is going through. And that is the truth, because we have all been trained, programmed, taught to walk around like a badass, which isn't a bad thing. And be good, right? And when you're not good, what do you do with that? So what I'm learning is, I know I have those core people that I can. And my girlfriend, the one that said to me, I always have 8 minutes for you. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Because I didn't understand. She happens to be that person that whenever I'm not good, she's my call. And it's because, first of all, I know her a very long time. She's one of my dearest besties. And she's a safe place. She's a place that I can go to, that I can cry, that I cannot be strong. And I don't normally cry. I just learned how to do that again in January, because I had no tears left for like 10 years. So after losing my mom, I found, well, actually it wasn't losing my mom. It was 6 months later for her birthday that I found my tears. And I never wanted my tears to come out because I was afraid they would never stop. And I can see why I feel that way, because I do feel that way, right? And this is the thing, is that no one knows what someone else is going through. And I do believe that if you have anything in you and you are able to help someone else that is maybe in a worse situation than you, that you need to put aside what you're going through, because you can do that, right? We have the capacity. Our hearts are big enough that we have the capacity to separate and say, you know what? I'm going to shut this down right now. I know I'm feeling a certain kind of way, but you know what? So-and-so is not doing good and they need me. And I remember when my husband died and my girlfriend was going through something, and this girl was literally wiping my ass for me. That's what she gave up her whole world to help me. And I looked at her and I was like, what's the matter? And she, I mean, obviously she was hurting for me, but I knew something was up. And I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, don't worry about it, Karen. And I'm like, no, like, I can put this aside right now. Talk to me. What is going on? I see that something is wrong. So she's like, but it's stupid or whatever. And I'm like, listen to me. What? So she talked about it and I offered whatever I could offer for it. But that's a yin and a yang. That's a give and a take. And the issue is sometimes there are a lot of people that just take and don't give back. I just had this conversation with my son 2 nights ago. I was sitting downstairs. I was getting ready to do Straight Talk with Karen and Brenda. And I literally had 20 minutes before the show. My son is 16 years old. And he comes downstairs and I look at him and I go, and he goes, you got a minute? And I'm like, looking at him. Now, I'd been struggling all day, all week, trying to get myself where I needed to be. And then when I go live and when I do a show, I pour whatever I have into that. So I'm actually exhausted after I do them, because I give you or whoever it is that's tuned in and listening what I have, and hope that maybe it has an impact on your life in some good way. And so I look at him and he says to me, you got a minute? And I'm looking at the clock and I'm thinking in my head, this is not going to be a minute, but like, it's my son. Nothing else is more important. So I'm like, what's up? So he starts, talking to me and telling me what was going on. And then he knew that I had the show. And we were able to discuss it. We were able to wrap it up. And, he went back upstairs and figured out what he was going to do with that. And then boom, I'm live. Here we go. And now we're talking. Our subject was the let them theory, Mel Robbins, which I keep continuing to try to learn and grow and have more tools to help others, because it's very difficult when you do not have tools to work through whatever problems that you have. So I think that being a safe place is really, really important. And so what does that mean? So I know right now I don't have many people chiming in on Facebook, which is okay. I know I have a few people here on Podbean. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, you are listening to Coffee Talk with Karen, and we are live on Real Talk with KarenStacy.podbean.com. And if anybody has been looking for me, that's where you will find me. So hit those follow buttons and you can interact live. So, so my question to you guys is, what do you consider a safe place? That's going to be my question. I'm going to give you a second to think about it as I take a sip of coffee. If you know me, you know that I hate when my coffee gets cold, and it's cold. So to me, a safe place is somewhere that I can be me. And there are a lot of people that don't necessarily like me, and that's okay. So those aren't my people. So that's not a safe place. So to me, a safe place is somewhere where you can say things out loud that you probably shouldn't, and that people aren't going to judge you or form a different opinion on you, run away, all of those things, right? Because the truth of the matter is, and again, going through all of these things like the let them theory and all these type of things, fear is a big factor that holds us back from so much. So what are you afraid of? You're afraid that if you speak your truth, that people will judge you and not like you. So sometimes it's just something really simple, and it's just like for me personally, I'm an overly sensitive person. I take shit personally. I'm the first person to admit it, and maybe that makes me difficult to deal with, whatever. This is me, and I'm working on it, and I'm working on not taking things so personally, but I can't help it because but at the same token, you may take things personally because you're insecure about the relationship with the people that are making you feel sensitive, like getting in your feelings. So it's like a yin and a yang, because you want to be secure, but then at the same token, it's a realistic thing that maybe people really, are hurting your feelings, or they don't like you, or they don't want to invite you, or they don't have 8 minutes for you. And so a lot of us do is we want to be liked more than we want to be authentic. And at some point in time, those things don't work, because you can't be not your true authentic self, and then anybody that likes you because of that isn't really your friend. Because if you are who you are and they don't like who you are, then those aren't your people. So I know for me personally, I have a lot of different people in my life, and I had a conversation with someone the other day, and they were saying to me, you and your son have a different relationship than me and my son. And I said, well, you have to be a safe place. And sometimes a safe place means, just sitting down next to somebody. Sometimes a safe place is sending people stupid memes about things, and just opening up the door to the communication. And again, a judgment-free zone. And that is where I live, okay? I have my opinions on things, don't get me wrong. And if you're not in alignment with my values and my morals, then I make decisions differently, but that still doesn't matter. So I've had people that, maybe they were talking about infidelity. I don't judge you, but like, you know that I'm not a proponent of that. I'm going to support you because you're my friend. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. And, if you need me, I'm there. But that I am not someone that, condones, certain moral, ethical things. So that's just me, but that doesn't mean that I don't accept you for who and what you are. So being a safe place means what? And I asked this, I got people on Podbean, no one responded to me on here. I have some people that is sneaking in on Facebook or not. All right, great. See, Jennifer Lynn, I love you, my girl. So here we go. Here's a comment that I'm going to read from Podbean. A safe place to me is a friend I can trust and tell anything to without judgment and ask for advice without worrying that our friendship may change or that they will hurt my feelings or bring me down more if I'm in a bad place. You know what? Amen to that. I've reached out to ask for help in the past while going through a depression and trusted my ex-husband, who was still co-parenting and also a good friend to me. I told him I needed help with depression. I couldn't pull myself out, and he judged me and walked away. Well, first of all, I'm sorry for that. And second of all, now you know why he's your ex-husband, right? And that is so freaking true. I was in a situation after my mom had passed, and, I had a couple of drinks in me and I was not handling it well. And me and someone, a close friend of mine, were going back and forth. And instead of me, talking, and maybe I was or wasn't making sense, and instead of me being supported, I was kind of attacked. And when I said I want to stop this conversation because I didn't feel it was going anywhere and we needed to just break because I knew I was overly emotional. Maybe I was overreacting, but I needed a safe place and I wasn't getting that. And that was my fault. Because I know this person, and this person loves me and helped me through the hardest times of my life. I'm not discounting that whatsoever. So that wasn't the case. But people can only do what they're capable of doing. And that's what I've learned, right? So some people are tough love type of people, right? And it's kind of like, they're like, well, you know what? You got to push through it. You got to this, like, come on, buck up. Let's go. Get out of that head. Come on, keep it moving. And that's great. But sometimes you need an interim between being on the floor and flying. And some people don't understand that. I don't do good with tough love. It doesn't work for me because I am a mush. So yeah, I may be, you push me, you poke the bear, I'm coming for you. But I don't want the bear poked at all because I don't want to be the bear. I want to be the teddy bear. I don't want to be the mean bear, right? So when I tried to shut that conversation down because I respect and love that person very much. And I understood that she was not the proper person to have that conversation with because they were going through their own things and they were doing the best they could to help me with what they were able to do. So when I tried to shut down the conversation, it was like, oh, when the conversation doesn't go your way, you want to shut down the conversation. No, that's not it at all. The thing is that we want to be in a safe place. To me, a safe place is not arguing. I'm not arguing my point with you. I'm not arguing how I feel with you. I am telling you how I feel. If you don't agree or you don't see it, then a safe place is shut your mouth and let people talk. Because sometimes, like this whole thing is about the 8 minutes, sometimes people just need to connect with someone else. I said to my son the other day, okay, you said it out loud. So now you've already handled half the battle because you said it out loud. It's in the universe. It's not stuck inside of you anymore. It's out. So now it has less power, and now you can move through it. So I learned he was not my safe place. I later found help and would never trust him to be there again. I have friends that I can turn to and trust and feel safe with, and it's not him. Yes. And so this is the reason why I thought this was a great topic. And I'm going to give an addendum to it. In my opinion, in my experiences, people don't realize that they're not a safe place. People are not self-aware. And when you are the type of person that bites, people don't want to tell you that you're not a safe place because they don't want you to bite them. So that's a tough place. And I'm the type of person, I will get my point across when I need to. And a lot of times there's a time and a place for everything. And I just recently hung out with somebody that I haven't hung out with in a minute. And I brought up something that happened like 2 times ago that when we hung out. Now, the men are probably like, oh, here we go. Like, women never forget nothing, and they got to break your balls and this, that, and the other. And that's not it. It's that when things happen, it isn't always the time to address them. And like Mel Robbins talks about a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I have always said a 3-second delay. So in my opinion, waiting, because you're too emotionally charged at the moment, you have to wait. I told my son the same thing the other day. You're going through this. You're in it. You need a day. You need a mental day. Tomorrow's a new day. You decide from there how you feel, because you're not going to feel the same way tomorrow that you feel today. Now, that said, you may feel even more strongly about it. And that may mean that you need to address that sooner than later. For me personally, I think certain conversations need to be had face to face. I think that you need to be in the right place to say them. And again, depending on who the people are, whether they are a safe place, whether it's the right time, whether it's the right place, all of those things come in. But what I have recognized is that when you do not express the way you feel, you also can't hold something against somebody that doesn't know that that's how you feel. So I could have somebody that maybe and people, the first thing they want to do is they want to come at me because, she yelled at me. First of all, anybody that knows me knows I don't yell. I don't remember the last time I yelled. But when I say something assertively, people react to it as though I'm yelling at them. If you know me and you've been in my life, I said to my son, how many times have you ever heard me raise my voice? He goes, Ma, seriously, I don't really know. Now, don't get me wrong. I will go at him with certain things, but I will not go there. I am not confrontational. I do not want to pick a fight with you. And if you're going to fight with me over how I feel, then you are not a safe place. Anybody else want to comment on this? Because it's funny. When I talk about certain topics, it's really interesting to me how people stay in the back and they don't comment, which speaks volumes to me, because that means that this is hitting home. And this means that after this show, I'm going to get private messages and people are going to say to me, I needed to hear that. Yes, I understand, or I felt that way, or whatever the case may be. Make me feel safe. Hi, Kenny. And so this to me is super important. So I want you, my brain still hasn't enough coffee yet, so the vocabulary, the $5 vocabulary word wasn't working yet. We need to learn how to be a safe place. And so apparently with this reel that I had shared, this is a thing now, the 8 minutes. So this is a thing amongst friends. So now if a friend messages you 8 minutes, that means that they need you. Now, I'm grateful that there's a something for this, but it saddens me to think that we need code words for these type of things. Because as we talked about earlier, if you know somebody, if you are in tune with people, you should know, or you should see, and this is where I'm wrong. See, this is wrong. This is wrong thinking. This is making people like mind read. So people don't know if you're not okay. And if you're like me, you don't want to tell people you're not okay. But you have to at least have 1 or 2 people that you can say, I'm not okay. And that they are capable of listening to you. And I mean, like, their cup isn't too empty. Because, my son said something like a week or 2 ago, and I was not capable. And he said something to me that I'm not going to repeat at the moment for his own privacy. And it was deep. And it broke my heart. And I looked at him and I said to him, I can't do this right now. And after the words came out of my mouth, I felt terrible. And I said, Noah, and he goes, Ma, you don't have to say anymore. That's how you feel. You said what you said. It's okay. I'm okay. And now I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I set a boundary because I just couldn't do it. I was empty. And my son is, I would give him my last breath. So I felt so freaking horrible afterwards, but I didn't have it in me. And I know that when we're there, it's an hour-long conversation. And yes, I talk too much and all of that, but so what? I'm going to talk until I talk. So, the next day, like I said, when I'm ready, the next day, I said to him, I am very sorry. I apologize that I did not validate you yesterday. I didn't have it in me, and you reached out, and I didn't mean to shut you down. He's like, you didn't shut me down. You were just honest, and you said you couldn't do it. So I was like, you know what? Thank you for that, but let's discuss this now. So there are ways in which you can be there for somebody without, when you don't, like, even when you have an empty cup, you have to be honest with somebody, and you have to say to somebody, like what I said, like, I can't do this right now. Like, give me a few, or can I call you back, or can I reach out to you in a little bit, or whatever the case may be. But being a safe place is very important to me. And knowing whether you're a safe place is more important. So if you leave with nothing else today, reflect on yourself and say to yourself, am I a safe place? Like, when people reach out to me, or like, am I in tune with my friends? Am I in tune with my family, or whomever it may be? So I think it's so important again, being self-aware and also knowing what you're capable of doing, and being selfless at times so that you can help someone else. Because again, sometimes these conversations don't take 8 minutes like the reel would suggest, but it can make a difference. It can have an impact. So I always tell people the whole reason for me doing my shows is for you to look at things from a different perspective. For you to see it through different lenses, through different eyes, and to be open to looking at it a different way. Because we talked about this on one of our other shows. You know, somebody may say, you know, the sky is gray. And then somebody else may say, well, actually, I'm looking over there and I see it's blue right over there. So you may turn around and go, oh, you know what? I didn't look over there. You're right. It is blue over there. That's beautiful. So perspective is everything. And if you can be secure enough in yourself and realize that there's always room for improvement, then you are able to be there for other people. You're able to look at things through different lenses and have a different perspective, because you just might learn something. That said, you may completely not agree with anything that someone else is saying, right? And that's okay, but at least you know why they're saying it, and you can at least understand why they're saying what they're saying. Whether it resonates with you or not is not important. But if I know that, like so-and-so, is doing this because this is what she thinks, like perfect example, the division in the world, right? And I'm not talking politics, but politics. So if you have somebody on one side and they're expressing the way that they feel about a certain problem or issue, and then you have somebody on the other side and they're expressing a certain problem or issue. Now, are we fighting about it? Are we telling the other person that because you don't think the way I think and you don't see it the way I see it, that you're wrong or you're stupid or you're ignorant or you're misinformed or you're not, whatever it is, right? Shut your mouth. Listen, okay, this is how I feel about it. Okay, I didn't look at it that way. Well, this is how I feel about it. Okay, I didn't look at it that way. So now it's a level playing field and you're a safe place. If you're going to tell me how you feel and I'm going to tell you that you're ignorant, that you're misinformed, that you're stupid, that you're wrong, now are you a safe place? Nope. So we can all agree to disagree. Bad example, they don't listen to each other. Well, no, actually, it's a perfect example, because that's my whole point about things, is that if you know you're going to get into a confrontation with someone for speaking how you feel, then that's not a safe place. So the subject matter today is being a safe place. So that's where I am, and that's what I'm trying to portray today. So we have one of Jennifer signing off. I will be back anytime. I love the show to do coffee talk, even if I'm just listening. All right. Thank you so much. And yeah, so, like she's saying, I'm here if you need a safe place. So maybe that's something to take away from this conversation. Maybe we need to just remember, and this is why this reel was so, impactful, is that now friends, family, they have a code now. I need 8 minutes. So that way, if you tell somebody and you explain this to them, and you say, I need 8 minutes, then they know why. They know that it's not a, hey, what's up kind of thing, that they may or may not get back to you, because that is what happens. People are busy. Me, Miss Freaking Sensitive, will take it a certain way, but 9 times out of the 10, 7 times out of the 10, people are just busy and they have intention of getting back to you, but life gets in the way. So if you are clear in your intent that, hey, I need help, then if you don't get that back in return, that's not your people. And that's okay. But that's a way to learn that. So again, what I will tell you and what I'd like you to do is think about being a safe place. Think about giving of yourself to help someone else that might really need it. And if you don't have 8 minutes in you, then maybe you need to work on yourself a little bit more, because we all have 8 minutes. So I'm going to leave you with that. And I'm going to remind you that I think it's so next Friday, I am going to be back on again. I think I did it for 11:30, but I feel like maybe 11 o'clock is a better time. I have a new co-host that's going to be joining me. His name is Anthony Pags, and he is a pisser. And so it's going to be interesting to have a male-female relationship going on, because we got the yin and the yang. So I'm excited, to have that, because sometimes I think we're too estrogen driven, and I like the testosterone coming in. So that will be next. So, okay, so maybe we'll go with 11 then. I'll change it, because I think 11 is probably a better time. So again, I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in to Coffee Talk with Karen. Remember that tomorrow isn't promised. Don't be an asshole today. Always be humble and kind. And again, to recap for today, try to be a safe place for people, because sometimes people just need it. And check yourself before you wreck yourself, and make sure that you are a safe place, because you just might not be. So thank you guys for tuning in. Again, if you are looking for me, if you jumped on Facebook, a lot of people are like, oh, I haven't seen you. I haven't gone anywhere. I have not done Coffee Talk in a minute, but I have been doing shows, and I am on Podbean. So it's either Real Talk with KarenStacy.podbean.com or Straight Talk with Karen and Brenda.podbean.com. Download the Podbean app. It's free. And just like those 2 channels, because they are 2 separate channels, and you'll never miss a show again, because you can always catch it on the replay. So for those of you that don't want to download, that don't want to be part of the live show, that's cool. You can listen on any of your favorite podcast platforms. So once again, thank you. I appreciate you guys listening. I appreciate